Welcome everyone. Thank you once again for joining us today for our Triton Talk webinar on the UC San Diego College system. We'll allow a couple more minutes for folks to trickle in and then we'll get started. All right, once again, welcome everyone, and thank you once again for joining us. My name is Eddie Morfin. I am an admissions officer here at UC San Diego. I've been in my role for about 4 years now, but I'm also a proud alum. So UC San Diego has definitely been home for me for about 10 years now. So whoop, whoop, go Tritons. I have the privilege of working with students in the Central Valley, Arizona, and New Mexico regions. So if you're in the audience, feel free to give a little shout out to you all. And I'm also here joined by my colleague, Sin. So Sin, if you want to be kind and introduce yourself.
All right, thank you, Eddie. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Triton Talk today. Like Eddie said, my name is Cynthia. I'm an admissions officer here with UC San Diego, and I'm also an alumna. I graduated not super long ago, so if you do have questions about those experiences, we'd be happy to share that throughout the presentation. I'm originally from the Inland Empire, so shout out to the IE. If you're in the audience today, I was a sociology major at UC San Diego. I'm a first-generation college student, and I currently recruit in the Bay Area, so the San Francisco, San Mateo area, as well as the Inland Empire and South San Diego. So we're really excited to have you all here today and are looking forward to answering some of your questions.
Awesome, thank you so much, Sin. So as you can see on your screen here, we will use our time today to talk about UC San Diego's unique college system. So feel free to get all your questions in. We'll actually let you know how you're going to be able to input those throughout the presentation. But let's go ahead and get started and move on to our next slide. All right, but I do want to let you know before we do get started is that this session is being recorded and definitely will be available for viewing at a later time on our UC San Diego Admissions YouTube channel. On our UC San Diego Admissions YouTube channel, you'll be able to find a lot of other videos as well in case you have missed any information. So feel free to check that out. But this session will be recorded and be available on that channel. All right. So like I mentioned, during that time, you will have the opportunity to submit your questions into the Q&A feature. We reserve some time for Q&A at the end of today's presentation, but we'll also have current students as well as some admissions staff who will be working in the background behind the scenes during the presentation to type any answers to your questions. You may submit your questions anonymously and we will address as many questions as we can towards the end. So feel free to, throughout the presentation, if there's a question or something that we mentioned that, you would like further clarification, feel free to put it down in the box. And like I mentioned, we will have the opportunity of meeting some of our awesome students that we have here, and we'll kind of do a little student panel. So if you have questions for them, feel free to start thinking of those as well as letting us know in the chat box feature, or the Q&A feature. But moving along, so what exactly are we gonna cover today? We definitely understand that our unique college system can seem a bit confusing at first. Trust me, I was once in your shoes. But today we hope you will leave with a better understanding as to what the college system really is and what it's all about. We will share some helpful resources you can learn more about each of the colleges and hopefully you'll feel confident when ranking the colleges on your UC application. We'll provide a brief overview of each of our 7 colleges, and we'll end with some Q&A with some of our amazing students who are currently attending right now, which I will have the pleasure of introducing in the next couple of slides. So, Sin, if you are ready to go, feel free to take it away.
Thank you again, Eddie. Okay, so what is our college system? The system that we have at UC San Diego is unique to our campus. You can think of it, a lot of universities have, for example, School of Business, School of Engineering, School of Nursing, etc. Those are kind of what UC San Diego refers to our academic departments, but we also have 7 residential colleges that are completely separate from your major. You can be in any college and select any major you want, select any major and be in any college. The two things do not correlate with one another. It really depends on your personality and the college that best reflects that. And what I mean by that is all of our colleges are located in different parts of our campus. They have their own academic advising offices, their own residential life. They have their own general education requirements, their own resources, their own events, their own traditions, and most importantly, their own philosophies. The philosophy of every college is a little bit different. And today throughout our presentation, we'll be highlighting a little bit of that for every single one of our colleges. Okay, so when you are selecting your college, you can do it based on a different factors. It could be based on location, based on, you know, their philosophy. It could be based on the general education requirements. It could even be based on the different events that they provide for our students. The biggest thing that I want to highlight again is that you can select any college and be in any major. The two things, again, do not correlate with one another. And the best way to think of this is that they're little neighborhoods. Our colleges are little neighborhoods that make up the big city of UC San Diego. So when you go into your classrooms, you know, if you're a biology major and you go into your intro to biology course, you're going to be interacting with students of every college. And then when you go back into your residential halls, you'll be interacting with students of every discipline. So for example, when I was a student at UC San Diego, I was in Muir College, and I lived in a triple room. I was a sociology major. One of my roommates was a bio major and the other was an engineer. So like I said, you interact with students that come from every discipline. And I think that's one of the really cool parts of our system is that you are able to kind of just get to know different people that have different interests when you're in your classrooms, but when you're in your colleges, you get to interact with people that, you know, have similar philosophies as you do. Again, if you have any questions or, you know, if this still doesn't make sense, let us know and we can chat a little bit more about it. Okay, so we did want to provide you all with some helpful resources. On this slide, we've pointed out a few resources for you to explore. The admissions website provides brief overviews of each of the colleges, including their theme or philosophy, their community and traditions, their general education requirements, their housing profile, the nearby restaurants and markets that are open to all of the students, no matter what college you are in. And it also provides direct links to each of the college's websites if you want to learn specifically more about that particular college. The second link on here, mycampus.ucsd.edu, it goes a little into more detail about each college and including information and videos on academic advising, student life, the academic experience, the university living, and student services. And the last link on here, compare.ucsd.edu, is a great tool that you can utilize to compare the colleges side by side. It helps you to highlight the differences between each of the college's GE requirements, if that's important to you when you're selecting our colleges, as well as the residential areas, the physical locations, and the nearby dining options, which again, like I said, these could all be different factors on how you rank your colleges. And finally, through our admissions publications page, you can access our brochure on the college system for you to keep and go back to at any point you would like.
All right, thank you, Sin. So now we're gonna go a little bit more in depth and begin by providing a brief overview of each of the colleges. And these will actually be introduced in founding order. So if you're a history buff, the way that they're gonna be introduced is the way that they were established within our university. So for starters, let's start off with Revel College, the best college out there. I'm joking, just because you'll notice that I'm a little bit biased when it comes to Revel being the best colleges because that was my college assignment. And you'll see that's kind of like the vibe that you'll see at UC San Diego is that you'll see some folks saying, Muir is the best college, ERC is the best college. Well, it's because it's something that helps build school spirit once we're along the way. But Roger Revel was actually the founding father of Revel College. It started off with our first undergraduate class in 1964. And, named after George Revel because he embodies the philosophy very, very well. He was a renowned scientist and scholar. What Revel really does is that it offers a traditional liberal arts general education curriculum where students take courses in the humanities, mathematics, natural sciences, fine arts, and foreign language, which in turn really helps students become well-rounded scholars taking classes inside as well as outside of their major. It does make it a little easier to minor as well as even double major if that's something that you're interested in. And each of the colleges, you'll notice that we all have traditions that we host every year. And one of my favorite traditions for Revel, which happens every year, is our watermelon drop, where students actually choose a watermelon queen that is able to go and drop off a full-on watermelon off one of our halls that we have. The story behind it is that we had a physics professor back in the day who had a question on their final asking about the velocity of a watermelon dropping, as well as the splatter radius of that watermelon dropping. And they all thought they got it right, but the professor said that they got it wrong. Well, they actually went on, our innovative students went on and tried to test out that theory, and they actually turned out to be right. So they proved the professor wrong. So because of that, we celebrate every year with our watermelon drop, where we all get to see the watermelon queen drop that watermelon, and at the end, everybody enjoys some delicious watermelon as well as some treats in honor of that. And we'll move on to Muir College. You want to talk about that, Sin?
Of course. So this was my home college on campus, my home base. A cool thing about our college system is that you really do get the best of both worlds, right? You have access to a tier 1 research institute that has the faculty and the facilities, but you also get that small liberal arts college feeling. So this was, for me, John Muir College was my home base on campus. It was the second college at UC San Diego. It admitted its first class ever in 1967. And it was named after John Muir, who was a 19th century environmentalist, nature writer, and founder of the Sierra Club. But he was also an inventor and a businessman. And he was considered a remarkable person who created his own path and took a lot of risk. And that is John Muir's philosophy, right? To celebrate the independent spirit, which expresses, our wish for students to just lead varied, successful, committed, and self-directed lives. You see this reflected in our GE requirements. Oftentimes you'll hear that John Muir College has the most flexible general education sequence. And that's because students will be provided with different areas of study in which we want you to complete certain classes, but you as a student have the freedom and the responsibility to choose and select whatever classes you want to take to meet those requirements, right? Of course, like I said, there's a frame for you to work with, but you have a lot of flexibility in the classes you can take. So that's really neat. We also have some really fun events that they're all listed here on the slide at the bottom. We have a pumpkin drop. So every year, I believe it's like the Friday before Halloween, they will have a Halloween festival. And the biggest part of that festival is this pumpkin drop. We'll get an award-winning pumpkin that is usually, upwards to 400 pounds at a time. They'll hollow it out, fill it up with candy, take it to the tallest building in John Muir College, and right at noon, they will drop that pumpkin up from that building. And if you've ever seen small kids go wild for candy, I promise you, you haven't seen a ton of college students running towards it. So it's really fun. It sounds a little goofy, but it's something that, it provides a little ray of sunshine, especially for our students that maybe it's their first time leaving home. So I thought it was really fun. But yeah, we have concerts. We have John Muir. We celebrate John Muir Week, which is a week dedicated to celebrate literally John Muir. And we'll have a lot of events that kind of reflect a lot of his core values. So yeah, it's a really good time. And a lot of the colleges have similar events.
Definitely, that pumpkin drop, let me tell you, Hassan, it's very fun to participate. I mean, I grew up with like birthday parties with piñatas. It's kind of like our Halloween piñata that we have drop every year, which is really fun. You would think that college students wouldn't be down. We're down for you. Go for that candy, which is really fun. Next, we have Marshall College, named after Thurgood Marshall, who is an amazing person. I don't know if you know the history of Thurgood Marshall, but he embodies their philosophy so well. He was a Supreme Court justice and key figure in desegregating our schools with Brown versus Board of Education. And really what Marshall College is all about is that it directs growth as a scholar and as citizen through general education courses designed to raise awareness and understanding in the diversity of cultures in contemporary American society. Students take courses in math, natural sciences, fine arts, humanities, and areas outside of their major as well. Really, their philosophy is all about really shaping involved scholars, but as well as involved citizens when it comes to their philosophy. One of their really cool traditions that they have is Marshallpalooza. We love to host events and we kind of make it fun. We kind of bring in those inner childs that we have within us. And Marshallpalooza is basically like a carnival that they bring to our campus, which is really cool. We have a Ferris wheel, we have some other little games that kind of go around, and it's open to all students, which is really cool. That's the thing about all our traditions, is that even though it's pertaining to one particular college, it is open to all students, and all students are able to go and participate. So like Sin mentioned, you'll have students from different colleges and classes, things like that. You'll have friends from different colleges. So when you go to these events, you know, you'll be able to enjoy some Marshallpalooza, like, you know, some cotton candy, you know, some event with some of your friends. It doesn't have to particularly be from Marshall College. But they also have cultural celebration where they kind of celebrate a lot of different cultures and foods, which is really cool. Foods are my favorite thing to do, especially at UC San Diego. And you'll notice that as a college student, any type of free food that is available, we're on it. So that is one thing I really did get to enjoy at UC San Diego, is really explore the different foods and tastes when it comes to that cultural celebration. Next we have, let's see.
Yeah, so next on our list is Warren College. It is the 4th undergraduate college at UC San Diego, and it was established in 1974. Their philosophy at Warren College is toward a life in balance, which you'll notice is a philosophy that was inspired by former U.S. Supreme Court Justice Earl Warren. You'll also notice that, you know, Warren College claims that no matter what your major, Warren will help you develop as an ethical citizen who impacts our global society, all through an undergraduate experience balanced between academics, co-curricular activities, and social experiences. So at the end of the day, the way that, you know, I've understood the experience at college to be at Earl Warren College to be is that they help you really take your personal goals and your career goals and create a college experience that helps you succeed in both. They have some really fun events as well. I know that they have a Warren Live concert, which I think is one of the biggest events they host. Warren Mall is a huge open space in Warren College that is perfect for concerts and large events. So you'll notice that a lot of events are held there, and it's also surrounded by some of the major lecture halls throughout campus. So if you do live in Warren College, it is close to a lot of those larger lecture halls. But yeah, they have tons of events. They have Warren Got Talent. So if you are someone who wants to go on stage and shine for a little bit, or if you have a friend that you want to go and support, this is a great place for you to showcase all of those maybe secret talents, maybe not so secret, but you'll be provided the space to enjoy that a little bit with your other friends on campus.
Next, we have ERC, or Eleanor Roosevelt College, who's named after our former First Lady. Their philosophy is developing involved global citizens as well as scholars. Their general education courses build your awareness and understandings of histories, customs, ideas, problems, and aspirations of peoples all around the world. So really their philosophy is about really shaping those global scholars at the end of the year. It really does allow students to the opportunity to really explore those options studying abroad. Studying abroad is across all of our colleges. You can definitely have those opportunities, but because of the framework that ERC does have, it does expand the curiosity of students kind of maybe going and actually studying at the place they're going to be learning about, which is pretty cool. So the majority of the students that do go abroad are coming from ERC, but that does not limit you. It does not like impede you at all to do so. One of their really cool traditions that they have is Rockin' Roosevelt, which is they host an on-campus concert and they bring indie artists to close our winter quarter, which is really cool. Past performers have been Bad Sun, Same Motel, and just last year we had the Driver Era. Now it might be a little bit outdated, I really don't know, but I heard that folks really, really enjoyed that. Some folks that really know about who the Driver Era is. And we had an on-campus and it was really good excitement to have there. But yeah, amongst that, we also have other kind of events. We have Eleanor Roosevelt Week, where you can kind of like honor her and like a lot of the legacy that she's kind of had. and things like that, as well as close to ERC is home to iHouse, or International House, where we actually have the opportunity of students to live with 50% UC San Diego students and 50% international students, so students from all over the world. We're not just having students from the US sitting here, we have students from all over coming and studying here, and you have the opportunity kind of to live and have that, culture exposure, which is really awesome and really makes our diversity rich on our campus.
Thank you, Eddie. So the next college on our list is Sixth College. It is the sixth college at UC San Diego. It was founded in 2001. So it's only been on campus for about 19 years, which when I say out loud, actually sounds like a really long time, but it's relatively new. And you'll notice that they actually haven't been named after a particular person. Sixth College's philosophy is to be innovative, interconnected, and aware. And this year is a very special year for Sixth College because they will be moving to a brand new permanent home on campus known as the North Torrey Pines Living Learning Neighborhood. So it's a brand new structure on campus. We're all looking forward to that, actually, since we haven't been on campus very much this year. I'm excited to see and explore a little bit of what that new home is looking like for Sixth College. But in this space, they will house their residential life, their administrative hub, a craft center, a state-of-the-art dining facility, fantastic retail options, and of course, a fabulous central green area. So there's definitely a lot of promising space right now for Sixth College, and we're all looking forward to that. At Sixth, their mission is to prepare their students to become dynamic citizens of the 21st century. And I think that 21st century concept is key in Sixth College. And they really want their students to be confident in, generating cutting edge, boundary breaking ideas and innovative technology. They have a program, an academic program called CAT, which stands for Culture, Art, and Technology. And that program really allows students to customize their own experience as they work towards their common mission, which, I just mentioned for our Sixth College, but also for their personal goals. So again, it's taking their personal interests and the mission of the college to create a, specific experience for our students that is related to that 21st century. They also have some really fun events like all of our colleges. I think one that stands out the most to me is the Chocolate Festival. And it's literally what you think it is. It's a festival filled with chocolate. There's chocolate fountains, there's chocolate food, everything is chocolate. And from what I've heard is you can dump anything you want in the chocolate as long as it's not living. So as long as it's not your roommate or anything like that. So if you are a chocolate connoisseur, this is a good event for you to attend on our campus. I'll also kind of segue into Seventh College, which is the newest college at UC San Diego. Seventh College theme is a changing planet. It really encompasses a broad range of pressing global issues, that include climate crisis, mass migration, and rapid cultural and technological change. So what's really cool about this college is that it allows you to take whatever your major is, whatever your preferred discipline is, and allows you to incorporate that with all of these global issues that I just mentioned, right? Seventh College was established in 2019 and will matriculate its first cohort ever of students this fall 2020. So this really is a historic opportunity for our students to make their mark for generations to come by shaping the college's culture and traditions. So you'll notice here, we don't really have any events to kind of share with you about. That's because there are none that exist yet. All our students are, they just started school. Today is actually their first day of school. And so we're excited to see kind of the different events, the different traditions that they come up with. And, if you are applying this year or not, you might also have an opportunity to be part of that, that change if you decide to select Seventh College as your first choice. And I think Eddie's going to share a little bit now with all of us about how you're able to select your college and what that might look like in the college application.
Thank you, Sin. Thank you. So yes, of course. So now that you've been provided with a snapshot overview of each college, hopefully that was able to answer some questions, and as well as providing some resources to learn more, we wanted to show you how to rank the colleges when you're applying to UC San Diego. If you haven't noticed yet, the UC application itself is just one application if you're considering multiple UC campuses, but when you choose UC San Diego as one of your options or the one that you're going to be sending your application to, you're going to be asked to rank the colleges 1 through 7. So basically, you are going to rank it in the order of your preference to have the best assignment of your college choice. But the one thing you should know right off the bat is that the order of your ranking of colleges does not affect the chances for admission to UC San Diego. It is actually not considered in the application review process. So first we admit the student and then we place them into their college choices. Boxes, as you'll see on the screen, boxes to rank the colleges on the UC application only appear once the student clicks learn more about the UC San Diego college system, that link, and it'll provide you like a pop-up window. Students should carefully read the information provided to understand the theme or the philosophy, as we kind of like touched a little bit upon each of the colleges. And that's how you're going to want to maybe rank those colleges. If you're still unsure, not to worry. We want to make sure you focus on the idea that you can actually be any major in any college, right? So if it is that you didn't get your top, college choice, that's not going to impede any of your, interests as well as your possibilities of pursuing any careers once you're already there at UC San Diego. Because once again, you could be any major in any of the colleges, right? So students do rank the colleges on the UC application for admission, but if you are offered admission, the college is based on how you rank it. So at the end of the day, we try to stay within the first top 3 choices on the of your rankings, but once again, you're not guaranteed your first choice. I actually, when I applied, I was very interested in both Revel and Marshall, and I think I made Marshall my first choice, going back a little bit back in the time capsule, and I didn't get Marshall. And at the end of the day, I was into Revel, and honestly, I wouldn't change my experience whatsoever. I really enjoyed the traditions that we were able to be a part of. And really at the end of the day, I had a lot of close friends from almost all colleges. So being in Revel didn't really impede it. And really to come to show that you can be any major in any college, I started off actually at UC San Diego as a math major. I thought I loved math. After my 3rd calculus class, once numbers started to disappear, I was like, yep, this is not my cup of tea, no thank you. I ended up actually double majoring in psychology and Chicano studies, so nowhere near mathematics. And honestly, that college, being in Revel, really helped me kind of take classes in different subject areas, as you will experience in every other college as well, kind of taking classes outside of your major, which is really cool. So at the end of the day, depending on how you rank the colleges, it's not going to have a huge impact, but make sure you rank them based on your interests and what's going to be more fitting for you at the end of the day. But yeah, I think that if you have any further questions on that, feel free to put them down on the Q&A feature. We're actually going to transition to one of my favorite parts every time that I participate in any type of webinar formats. We want to hear from current students, right? One of our amazing students. So I'm actually going to take it over to Sin, who's going to be able to introduce our student panel.
Thanks, Eddie. Yeah, like Eddie mentioned, we are now going to invite our students to go ahead and turn the cameras on, which they already did. And then we're going to have you all introduce yourselves really quickly. If you can just tell us your name, your college, of course, your major, maybe your hometown, or just any other fact that you want to share with us. And then we'll go in order that you're presented on the screen here. So we'll start off with Maya, and then Allison, Sarah, and Liz. All right. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maya. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a 3rd-year psychology major with a concentration in human health. I also have a minor in healthcare social issues. I'm in Marshall College, and my hometown is actually Fresno, California.
Hi, everyone. My name is Allison. I'm also a 3rd-year student. My gender pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm currently studying human biology with a minor in psychology. I'm in the first and finest college, Revel College. And yeah.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah. I'm a physics major and music minor in Eleanor, Roosevelt College, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
Hey y'all, my name is Liz. I am a 3rd-year human developmental sciences major with a minor in biological anthropology, and I am also in the 5th and finest college, Eleanor Roosevelt.
All right, thank you all very much for that introduction. We're going to go ahead and just jump into some of the questions that we have already received from folks. Also, if you do have any other questions or any specific questions for our panel, please go ahead and submit that in the Q&A. This time is for you. We want to share as much knowledge that we have based off of our experiences. So let us know what your questions are. If it's for a specific panelist, let us know. But this is what we're here for, okay? The first question for our panelists is, what's your favorite part of the college system? And I think this would be actually awesome if you could all answer. And again, we'll just go in the order that you're presented on screen. So Maya, when you're ready. Again, what's your favorite part of the college system?
Yeah, so when I came to campus, I feel like the college system was really a great way for me to find my first friends. Just being like housed with the people in your college, I felt like a lot of us were very like-minded because we had all picked the college based of our philosophies and what we identified with. So I feel like using that as common ground, that's what I really like about the college system, just being able to get to know students and get to know the campus with people who are first in your community.
I think my favorite part of the college system is that within your own individual college, you get like that small personal liberal arts college feel. Like I was an orientation leader for my specific college, and we only have like a staff looking over a smaller group of students. So we have our deans of academic advising and our provosts that want to get to know, for me, our Revel students. Like I got to know our Dean of Student Affairs. Her name is Dean Sherry, probably the most dope person I've ever met. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but she says dope. She actually raps for us during our orientation. So I think that's probably something that I really like, is that I'm able to get close with our academic staff, student affairs staff, because they're only looking over a smaller number of students. So I really get personalized help as a student, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, for me, I would say it's kind of similar to what Allison said. I like having that smaller community within such a big school. Our campus does have about 30,000 undergraduate students, so having that much like smaller campus within such a big campus is definitely something that I really like. And like Allison said, the provosts are all really awesome, and they're kind of like personal. It's like a more of a personal touch, just like a much smaller kind of feel within the big school. The provost for Eleanor Roosevelt College is super awesome. He's from South Africa, and he's like the most interesting person ever. And he loves to talk, so you can like go and talk to him whenever. And there are also academic advisors for each college. So if you're like wanting to just like have help with just choosing your classes or kind of deciding what you want to take, they're super awesome because it's so much of a smaller group of people just like going to talk to them. So it's much easier to kind of get in contact with them and get help if you need it. So yeah, that's kind of, it's similar basically to what Allison said. Yeah, I just like having that smaller feel within such a big school.
Yeah, and basically just to give another spin on what everyone else is saying, like it's a good first launch pad when you come to a university our size. Like I'm from a really small town in Pennsylvania where the population of the whole town is only 2,000 people. So to go from that to a school that is 15 times the size of my hometown was super intimidating. But I got to make my friends in ERC first, and then after I felt more comfortable and like more grounded, I started to realize that I knew people like all over campus and was better prepared to like launch myself into our greater like UC San Diego community. But I also always knew like that ERC was my home and like a place I could go back to when like all 30,000 people started to feel like a lot again.
All right, thank you all for sharing that. I know I mentioned I was in Muir College, but I have a special fondness for the provost of ERC, or Eleanor Roosevelt. I actually studied abroad with him in South Africa when I was a student, so I can vouch for his radness. All right, I do have another question for you all. I know I mentioned throughout the presentation that every college has their own general education sequence, but I think something that is very unique to all of the colleges that reflects the philosophy really accurately is the writing programs. So I know that we only have, 3 colleges here today for our student representatives, but if you all just kind of want to share a little bit about what that writing sequence experience is like, maybe, what is it? What does that mean? Have you all completed it? Just any information you have about your writing programs.
Okay, so as a Marshall College student, I took the Dimensions of Culture program writing sequence, and I really loved it. We have ours for 2 quarters, so we were under that course for 2 quarters, and Dimensions of Culture is kind of like very historical and really focuses on the things that have happened in the past that can impact you now and how you interact with others, and really the world around you. So I feel like as a person, I grew a lot just from having discussions in that class. And you really like, I don't know, it opened my eyes a lot because everyone has different backgrounds. And I feel like that really brought it together for me that like there's so many different things and different places out there, and like the way that you interact with people here on this campus and in the world really has a big impact. So I love Dimensions of Culture, a little bit about just how it works. So like I said, 2 quarters, and then we of course get teaching assistants and then our professor. So usually we're with a teacher's assistant twice a week, and I really love that because you get to have smaller discussions with classmates and with your teacher's assistants. I got really close with one of my teacher's assistants, and so that was really cool for me. Basically, I love the experience. I'll let other people share now.
Yeah, so I'm in.
Sorry,
Oh,
Allison.
no, you're
Go
good.
ahead.
You're good. So I'm in Revel College, and our writing sequence is the humanities writing sequence. And ours is 5 quarters long, so it's a little bit different than Marshall. But don't feel afraid by the amount of quarters that you have to take. I honestly really enjoyed it because we get to see a wide breadth of so many different books and information that we start all the way back at Greek civilization and we read like the comedies of Greek civilization and the Odyssey, and then we go through the different time sequences until we reach our 5th quarter, which is Hume 5, probably my most favorite writing class that I've ever taken. And we're reading more modern poetry, and we get to see the growth that people have made as intellectuals and scholars, which I think is really cool. But I have to say, by far the best thing is that I actually got to study abroad in London, England with my GEs in Revel. I took Hume 3, which was like romanticism abroad in London. So I think that's kind of cool about Revel and our GE sequence is that you can actually go and study abroad with it.
Yeah, for Eleanor Roosevelt College, we have MMW, which stands for Making of the Modern World. So MMW kind of is similar in terms of like, it just like goes through history. So you start all the way back, basically like people learning to cook. Like that was the first reading that we did for MMW. And it goes kind of all the way through just kind of like the beginning of the 21st century, which is really awesome. You kind of get a big overall view of just human history, really cool. And like Allison mentioned, you can study abroad with these writing sequences. So I actually was going to go to Japan this summer to take MMW 14, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But there are tons of opportunities to do things like that. You can take a lot of your general education classes abroad, which is a really great opportunity for sure.
Thank you all for such great responses. Actually, Liz, if you want to help us out with the next question, which was, how is the food on campus? And can you describe the different dining options in each college throughout the campus? And maybe share a little bit of how they're non-exclusive and you can be in any college and eat anywhere.
Yeah, of course. I love talking about our campus food. Our campus food is actually like super good. Like I know every school tends to say that, but like when I went here, like the food options alone just like blew me away. There are so many different like options. Like we have like Mexican place, we have a vegan restaurant, we have create your own pizzas, which aren't as good anymore because I'm not there to make them. Maybe I'm a little biased. I used to work at one of our but they're spread out all over campus, which is great. There's one in every college, but you can eat anywhere. So for me in Eleanor Roosevelt, our dining hall is Cafe Ventanas, or Cafe V as we like to call it. So it's like right in the ERC green, so it's super close to like where all of the dorms are. We also have markets, so that's more like a coffee shop, grocery store kind of feel. And all of the colleges are gonna have those as well, so you can just go and like buy snacks if you don't want an actual meal. But it is like super nice. Like you don't have to feel like you only eat at your college. Like you can go anywhere. Like I was rarely home, just how my schedule was at night in like Eleanor Roosevelt when I was living on campus. So I would eat just like wherever I was at, which was nice because then you kind of always got a nice variety of like what was going on. I'm sure other people can speak to their experiences, but that was just mine.
Thank you, Liz. It's true, all of our colleges have their own dining halls, so really anywhere you're on campus. Okay, Allison, I just kind of randomly selected you. If you can share a little bit, if you can describe to our guest the locations of our colleges, give a visual of our campus, maybe, you know, explain to us what campus tours are looking like in this virtual world. But yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, good question. So we have 7 different colleges, as we said, and they each have their own little residential space across campus, their own residences, and they have lecture halls in there. But as a student, you're going to be moving around all over campus and going to all and visiting all the 7 colleges. But if you would like to get a more intricate look at like where each college is placed, seeing more about the campus and where things lay out, we actually are giving live virtual tours now, which can be found and where you can sign up on our admissions website. And that's where we can show you intricately where each of the 7 colleges are and how they're like basically like everything is like together right next to each other, but it's all on the main campus. But yeah, so in each of the colleges, you're going to have the residences and apartments and dining halls specific to those colleges, but then you'll also have lecture halls, classrooms, different department buildings within there too. So I lived in Revel, I'd have some classes there, but I'd also move over to other colleges around for my other classes too. Well, that's kind of the general layout. Again, if you want to get a more specific look of our campus, I would highly recommend taking a live virtual tour, which you can find more info about on our admissions website.
Perfect. Thank you, Allison. Okay, Maya, I'm going to bug you for a little bit. If you don't mind sharing with us what your favorite part is about your college neighborhood and why. So why do you love your college?
I'm gonna have to say the people in Marshall College. I really love how supportive we are. I feel like we're a really caring community. There's a lot of like spots in Marshall College where like you can see the views of the ocean and everyone's just like either studying or having, you know, fun with friends. And I feel like those are some really great spots where I've had great memories. Just with even people that I don't know and strangers. And so it's really fun because I feel like I meet a new person in Marshall every single day. So yeah, I'd have to say the people.
Thank you for sharing that. Does anyone else want to, you know, feel passionate about their college and they want to share why they love it? What's your favorite part of your college?
I can definitely go. Once again, we were the first college on our campus, Revel College, so we lead the way with everything. You know, the first traditions on campus, having like our first students live on campus. We have our own college app, which I think is really cool for us to connect with our connect with our deans, all of our staff, have like our own like virtual programming through there. But I also have to say, I think like our college spirit is definitely very alive and well within the students. You know, we have that humanities writing sequence where people are like, 5 quarters long, but I think it really bonds us together as students. And it's kind of like something that you get to live through your first and your second years with on campus and with those students. So I think that there's been so many times for us to bond. And I think that college spirit is probably what I love the best. And we're first and finest, you know, I'm biased, I have to say. And I think that's definitely what makes us the best.
Sorry, I was having trouble with the mute button here. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Okay, Sarah, maybe you want to share with us a little bit about, let's see what other questions we have here. Okay, I think this is a great question. Do students get equal opportunities for internships, study abroad, research? You know, can you do that your first year and what does that process look like?
Yeah, so each college, like it really doesn't depend on the college in terms of like getting internship opportunities, study abroad opportunities, all that kind of stuff. The study abroad office, I'd love to highlight just because, I mean, I was going to study abroad, but like it didn't end up happening, but it's okay. I got a lot of experience with the study abroad office. They're absolutely awesome. They will talk to you. They'll help you through anything. And they will like help you through like scholarship stuff. They'll help you find programs that you might want to be interested in. So study abroad office is definitely a great resource, and you don't have to be in a specific college to study abroad. You can be in any college and study abroad. And it's definitely a really great resource if you're interested in that. Then also, just in terms of like research opportunities, that kind of stuff, again, it doesn't depend on your college at all. It's really actually great to get like connected with your professors, no matter your college. Something like some like really great programs that we have. Like for example, we have Coffee or Dine with Professor, where basically you can take your professor out for coffee or for lunch, and it's free. It's like on your college, they'll pay for it. And so that's a really great opportunity to kind of like get to know your professors, and they might help you find internship opportunities, or you could do research with them. Research is a really big thing on our campus, so it's really like spread out. Like anybody can do research, no matter your major or college. So there's tons of opportunities, kind of no matter what college you're in. I definitely recommend taking advantage of those opportunities and going to talk to those advisors, because they're super, super helpful.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, Maya, again, random selection. How does housing work at every college, and how do you get assigned, those kind of things? If you want to share a little bit about the housing process, maybe the setup as well.
Yeah, so housing on campus, each like housing plan is going to look different. Usually you're going to have single, double, or triple bedroom options. And then if you're first year, you're probably going to live in a residence halls. And then second years do usually live in apartments. So how that works, trying to get like assigned to a house, is usually during the like summer months, we do a roommate portal. And so that roommate portal is going to really ask you questions about your preferences for living. So do you like to go to sleep late, wake up early in the morning? Do you like loud music when you study? Do you want it to be quiet in your house? And so that's kind of how you get paired with people. They try to pair you with people who are most compatible to your living style. And I think that really works well for us, because I know I'm someone who likes to go to sleep late. And so I really like that my house last year was, we were late night sleepers. So yeah, that it's kind of a roommate portal and preference thing.
Awesome, thank you. Liz, can you share with us a little bit about how did you decide that UC San Diego was the university for you, and then how did you rank your colleges, or like the reason why you ranked your college?
Yeah, so when I guess I'll choose with ranking colleges first, because I did that before I decided that this was where I was going to go. I went through and I was looking at all of the like different philosophies and different events that like each college hosts. There was like a link on the application, because I will be honest, when I went to apply, I didn't know that the college system was a thing, so I had to do a lot of research really quickly. But I went through and I looked at all of the different philosophies, all of the different events that everyone hosted. I'm a big music person, so Rock and Roosevelt really like resonated with me. I was like, I'd love to throw my own concert. And then also big into like travel and other cultures. So the idea of the international scholar and global citizen, which is our philosophy over in Eleanor Roosevelt, really spoke to me. So that's how I did ranking wise, how I got to that conclusion that I wanted to be an ERC. And then UCSD as a whole, it was really about all of the different opportunities I saw, that I didn't need to be like set in one path, and that I could change my mind and kind of mix it up and do a bunch of different things. So like when I applied, I think I was undeclared in physical sciences. I thought I was going to do biology, changed my mind, decided I wanted to do global health, changed my mind again, decided I wanted to do cognitive science, changed my mind, and wound up in human developmental science. I was originally on a pre-med track, now I'm on a pre-nursing track. Just UCSD really like spoke to me in the sense of like options galore, like I could do what I wanted, but I also had all of the support that I would ever need, that if I like changed my mind or if I didn't know what I was doing, there was people and like opportunities in place that I could go to and get that support to help people kind of like guide me through changing my mind over and over and over again.
Thank you, Liz. I think a lot of students might resonate with that experience. I'm actually really curious if the rest of the panel, what factors did you take into account when ranking your colleges? Because just like Liz, when I was ranking my colleges, I had no clue what I was doing. I saw that John Muir College had a tree in their logo. I said, they're environmentally friendly. I love it. And I had a great experience. Now I work for UC San Diego. So I would love to know a little bit about the rest of the panel. Like, what factors did you all take into account when ranking your colleges?
I think for me, when I was applying to UC San Diego, I really wanted to like take classes I was super interested in. So I took a hard look at the general education requirements and just saw like kind of what I was the most interested in studying, because when you're in your college, you take those general education classes of your college. So I was like, I really like Eleanor Roosevelt College's general education requirements. They sound super interesting. So I ranked ERC #1, and I just kind of ranked them all the way through there just based on what general education classes I was most interested in taking. And that has definitely served me well. I really enjoyed ERC's general education requirements, but yeah, so that kind of factored into my ranking of the colleges.
Allison or Maya, do any of you want to share?
Yeah, I know for me that like since high school, I was like, I'm going to be a science major. That's my best subject and that's what I want to be. But then when I was looking at college, I was like, I want to choose a set of general education requirements that will take me outside of that major to where I can do social sciences and humanities and like do a fine arts, as well as like learn a language. And I really settled on having a language requirement. That was like my #1 thing because I was like, I don't want to chicken out and I want my college to force me to take a language. So when I was looking at each of the colleges, I definitely ranked those colleges the most that had language requirements. But then I also just really fell in love with like Revel, in that we really like we just like kind of redid our mission statement. And the main thing that we talk about is the depth and breadth of our general education requirements. And we also do emphasize that it is a rigorous set. And I wanted to be challenged as a student, as a continuing growing student, to be challenged and also learn a lot. So language requirement. And then also I wanted to where I could learn basically everything. So I'm a nerd. I like learning things. And Revel definitely fit well for me.
So yeah, I can say I had a similar experience. I really looked at the philosophies mostly. I didn't really know which general education requirements I was going to be taking for Marshall College. I think what really spoke to me first was social justice and Marshall students trying to be scholars and citizens. Of course, I came in knowing that I kind of wanted to go into psychology, but I also really liked political science. And so really getting a chance to explore that within my philosophy and within social justice and being a scholar and citizen, that really spoke to me when I was researching. But I didn't really know what general education requirements I was going to take. I'm really glad it did feed into the writing requirement course that I had to take because it was a great time.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing. I think, like I said, when you select your college, it could be on a variety of factors. And, if you're anything like me, you could also just make it random and see what happens. At the end of the day, you're still getting your degree from UC San Diego. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead, based on y'all's majors, I'm going to try to switch it up here. Let's see if we can have Sarah and Liz tell us a little bit about what your college experience has been this year with the online format. How has, that impacted your classes or lectures and things like that?
So we actually had our first day of school today. Happy first day of school. So it's actually been really good. We had our spring quarter online as well. So we've had a little bit of experience with it. But the professors are actually super, super understanding. They totally understand that so many things are happening right now. It's definitely not a normal time of year. So they've been really great about being like, if you have to miss a lecture for anything, no worries. We'll have other ways to kind of get participation points and that kind of stuff. So the professors have been really awesome about it, which is really great. And then also the lectures that we do have in person are super limited to about 50 students in really big lecture halls, 400-person lecture halls. So these in-person classes have been really good. Apparently, I've heard from my friends that are taking in-person classes right now. And it's just the professors have been really just, like I said, they've been really great about it and just super understanding. The Zoom lectures are good. They're as good as they can be, but unusual times, but we're definitely making the best of it here.
Yeah, I agree with Sarah. It's definitely been an experience. I had the experience of last quarter when we were online. I was still in some of my big science classes. So that was an interesting perspective. And now I'm on a lot smaller, discussion-based social science classes. So I can speak more to that experience. But it's actually been very helpful because it is a little hard when you have these discussion-based courses when you're not in the same room as everyone you're trying to talk to. So, Like there's always technical difficulties, and being put in like breakout rooms and stuff, it takes a little bit to adjust and like not feel weird, just like initiating conversations with people who like don't have their cameras on, so you're not looking at anybody. But professors have been really accommodating and really understanding. I've had all of my professors send out like surveys. So it was just like, oh, like, are you in San Diego or are you calling in from another time zone? Like, do you have a stable internet connection? So that they can really like make sure that if we do have things like discussion that is like dependent on participation, if you're in a situation where that's just not possible for you, like they'll help you and they'll make sure that you get the like resources that you need. So it's been a transition, but a good one, I think, for the most part.
Well, thank you both for sharing that. I'm really happy to hear that our faculty has been very supportive and understanding of this time. Okay, I think we have time for one more question. So Allison, Maya, if you can just share with us, what are besides the traditions at your college, are there extracurricular opportunities that you can participate in that are college specific, student government, anything like that you can share with us?
Yeah, so I know for Revel, we do have our own student government within Revel. I do believe that every single college has their own student government as well. Ours is the Revel College Council, but there are so many other ways to get involved, like specifically in Revel. If you're interested in strengthening your leadership like abilities, we have our Emerging Leaders program, which you can do for a year, 2 years, become a mentor as well. Our Revel Hall Association, if you're interested in getting involved in our residential life, their own clubs, everything like that. But as well as being a Revel student, there's so many opportunities to get involved campus-wide too. So if you want to be like a diehard Revel student, you have the opportunity, but if you want to get involved as a UC San Diego student, you have so many opportunities for that as well.
All right. I was definitely in the background, chiming in, answering some questions, but I'm very, very happy that today's kind of presentation about our colleges went successful and you were able to kind of answer all your questions. Thank you once again, students, for your perspective and your insight. I wish you all the best of luck coming this fall quarter. But if you are interested in staying connected with us, feel free to visit any of the links on our page right now that you see on your screen. You can actually find out all of our virtual events on that website, as well as you can email us at admissionsreply@ucsd.edu. That is always handled by admissions officers to answer all your questions. Right now, being in the realm that we're in, we have a lot of virtual opportunities. So definitely feel free to visit our virtual information sessions, as well as our tours, as well as academic advising. Not academic advising, let me take that back. Admissions advising. You have academic advising once you're already a student, but if you are interested in admissions for any perspective, we have virtual advising available. Feel free to visit us there on those links. And to stay connected with all of our social media pages, that's how you'll be able to know what's going on our campus. We host, for example, a summer academy every year that's for rising seniors. So you can definitely find out about things like that through our social media outlets. But once again, thank you all so very much for your time spending with us today. I'm hoping we answered all your questions. And if you have any further, you know where to reach us. Thank you all once again and hope you all stay safe and sane out there.